Do you find that you're always your worst critic? You're always analysing your own work, comparing it with everyone else and beating yourself up, feeling that your work just isn't what it could be? Well, in today's video, I want to talk to you about how to feel more confident about your creative work. As creatives, we're often our worst critics. We often will look at other people's work, compare ourselves to them, and beat ourselves up feeling like what we are creating and what we're doing just isn't good enough. We'll feel like our skills aren't as far along as they should be, or that we're producing work that just isn't good enough or isn't what people want. And so we end up struggling to feel confident about our work, and the more we struggle with that confidence, the less we're going to actually be putting our work out there and growing and getting better to be able to build up our confidence even more. I'm Tabitha Emma, and I started my creative business back in 2007, and even all these years later I have those moments where I struggle to feel confident about my own work. Those moments where I find myself scrolling through, looking at other people's work and thinking, man, I don't feel like mine's up to the standard it should be right now, or they're doing amazing things and they've only just got started. It's so easy to start analysing yourself, but the problem is that we often are looking at all the faults and the things that are wrong with what we do, whereas outsiders are seeing all the best in the work. And so in a way, we have to step back and look at our work from an outsider's perspective, rather than looking at in that nitty-gritty of how we did it and everything that was wrong with it and how it wasn't perfect. If you want to get better and better at what you do and feel more and more confident and get those opportunities that come up that give you that real confidence boost because you're noticing that other people are really seeing what amazing stuff you're doing, then you need to first feel confident about where your work is right now. Because by feeling confident about where it is right now, you're going to be more willing to keep practicing, putting more and more out there, and then your work's going to continue to get better and better. And the more you're putting out there, the more opportunities are going to come up where people are going to be seeing your work and you're going to get noticed more. So we need to end that cycle that makes you procrastinate, put off sharing your work, and make you beat yourself up all the time. It's time to feel confident about your creative work now. Now, the most important thing when it comes to feeling more confident about your work is that you need to work on things internally. Because if you keep trying to change things externally, like the style of work you're doing, or where you're sharing it, or who you're talking to, or cutting yourself off from social media or anything like that, it's not really going to change the root problem. You need to work on how you feel about your work inside. You need to do that internal work so that you feel that confidence about what you're putting out there. And then, of course, you'll continue to share, continue to grow, and continue to feel more confident about your work. All right, so the first step to feeling more confident about your creative work is to stop comparing. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy. By looking at what everyone else is doing, you're going to feel less and less confident and joyful about your own work, and so you're going to lose that joy of the process because you're constantly trying to do better and better rather than just enjoying what you're creating. And it's one of those things that's really hard to tackle as a creative, because part of our creative process is often looking for inspiration, which includes looking around at what other people are doing, see what trends are in right now, finding community of other people that do similar things. And so you can't just simply cut yourself off from all that, because you want to be able to draw from ideas from what other people are doing, or clever concepts of the way they're going about things that spark new ideas for you, and you want to connect with other creatives so that you feel built up, encouraged and inspired, and feel like you're not the only one doing this. So how do you stay in all that but still feel confident about your work and not be sucked into comparing all the time? So one of the ways you can do this is by setting some boundaries. So you can still go out there, still look at what other people are doing, still talk to them, still have that community and talking to them, looking at what they're doing, but set some boundaries. This could be limiting how much time you spend on certain platforms, or it could be unfollowing people that you just feel keep pulling you down because you're constantly finding yourself sucking into this whole, oh, they're so much better than me, oh, I wish I could do what they could do. And you've already seen their work, and you've already drawn ideas from what they're doing, that you don't need to keep looking at it over and over and over again if it's pulling you down. So if you feel it's necessary, there might be certain people that you need to unfollow. Just make it healthy. Basically, you've got to assess yourself, what things are causing stumbling blocks for you, and putting in the barriers that you need to put in so that you can still source inspiration, still have community, but without it destroying your own confidence. And then some little things to remember too is that everyone focuses on different things, so there's no point, completely comparing yourself to other people, because they might focus on one certain thing and you're focusing on something else. And so it's silly to compare. And then also people will be spending more time on certain things to what you spend your time on. And people will have different skill levels and, different help and support. So it's silly to compare. You've got to remember that everyone's at different stages, everyone's had different experiences and have different support networks, that comparing yourself to them isn't worthwhile. And just like in love, there's someone out there for everyone. So you don't need to be exactly the same as everyone else. In fact, you want to be different. And that leads us to the next point. Celebrate what makes your work unique and distinct. Remember that everyone is going to be drawn to different things. Everyone has different tastes. Everyone has different interests. Everyone's looking for different things. So you don't want to be like everyone else. You need to be celebrating what makes your work different, what makes your work unusual, what attracts just certain types of people. And really feel into that, really ramp that up, really enjoy that and celebrate that, because that's what's going to attract the right kind of people to your work. And so you need to really identify with those things and then feel confident in that. Feel like, yes, there's something very unique and special and different about my work, and that's what makes my work really awesome. It doesn't need to be like anyone else's, and it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be the best, it just needs to be me. It just needs to be my style, my thing, and what my audience really, really loves. And if you want to try and weave more of what makes you unique into your actual branding to help you attract the right kind of people to your work, then be sure to sign up to the link below in the description for my free email course, because that helps with some really deep prompts that get you thinking about what makes you unique, and then how you can then intertwine that into your branding, because by doing that you're going to attract the kind of people that will love what you do and the way that you're doing it. Now the next thing you can do is look at how far you've come, because in many ways it isn't a race against anyone else. Your creative work is about your journey, about you getting better and better at what you do. And so sometimes looking at your old work can build up your confidence, because you can look back and see how far you've come and how much you've improved and how your work has continued to grow and develop, and how you've continued to, find your style, find yourself, and, your work is improved and improved. And another fun little trick you can do is finding an old piece of work and then remaking it with your current skill level. And by doing that, you can really see the difference in how far you've come. Now, the next idea is to have some playtime. Now, what I mean by this is setting aside time to just have fun being creative, exploring different ideas and different techniques without pressure. Because when you've got a business and when you're trying to make money and when you're constantly putting it out there for the public to see, sometimes it puts too much pressure on trying to get everything perfect and everything right, that you get scared to try out things that you'd really like to try, but you're completely new to, so you don't know if it works and you're worried it's going to be a complete flop, and I'll just look like an idiot for trying this out, and I'll just stick to what I know. Sometimes just giving yourself that time without any pressure, without it having to be seen by anyone, to just explore and try things out is really great. And you never know, you might stumble across something that you end up being really good at, or that sparks an idea that you can bring into your professional work. And so giving yourself that time to just play around can be really good for your confidence, because you won't feel that constant pressure and you won't feel like, oh, if I fail, I'm just going to look like I'm terrible, I don't know what I'm doing. My next tip, which I think is a really important one to keep at for the rest of your life, and that is to keep learning, because you're never going to reach this pinnacle where you know everything there is to know about what you do. There's always different things that you could research and learn that you can bring to your work that might not be typical for your industry or what most people do, that could then make your work more interesting and unique. So just constantly keep learning, because things are always changing. I mean, technologies are always changing. There's always so much more to learn and always so much more that you can bring to your work, that you should be constantly learning. And the more competent you feel, the more confident you're going to feel. So the more you understand about your work, that deeper, richer learning that you have, and that more skill level and competence you have in what you're able to do, the more confident you're going to feel. So don't stop learning. Constantly keep learning new things and building up that competence so that you can get better and better at what you do. Now, the next step is for no matter what stage you are at, put your work out there. It doesn't matter if you are only just starting out and you want to eventually make a career out of it. Just start sharing, because by sharing, you're going to get people looking at your work, you're going to get people making comments, you're going to be able to build up your confidence because you'll have people saying to you, oh, I love what you did, that's real cool. Or, I love that you're getting into that, the way you did that was really cool. Or, keep going, I can see you've got a lot of potential in this. Even those really early beginning comments can really build your confidence, because people are looking at your work from an outside perspective, especially if you're showing, your family and friends that maybe are not part of what you do, part of that world, that are not going to pick apart the nitty-gritty, but just building up your confidence and encourage you along so that you're going to keep at it. And then find communities where other people can, look at your work, and maybe they can give you a little bit of a critique, but in a way that's going to encourage you. Because if you get amongst people with a bit more experience, they'll be able to critique you in a way where you can keep improving. Rather than it pulling you down, you'll be like, oh, I need to work on that area more. And so it'll build your confidence up, because you'll start to see what areas you can get better at, rather than just stabbing in the dark trying to get good at something. Instead, you're going to be able to focus on the things you need to improve, and so your work's going to continue to get better and better, and you're going to start feeling really confident about what you can do. And then the more you get your work out there, the sooner a confidence building opportunity is going to arise. And what I mean by that is someone out there is going to see your work and give you this opportunity that's going to make you feel really good about your work. It could be that they want to feature your work on their blog. It could be that they want to put your stuff in a magazine, or it could be that they want to interview you, or retweet or repost something that you've done. Just little things where someone sees your work and really loves it and wants to share it in some kind of way, or present you with some kind of opportunity because they saw your work and saw the potential and it really loved it. Then you're going to feel really, really confident, because all of a sudden someone really loves your work enough to present you with this great opportunity. And if you didn't put your work out there and hid it away until you felt like it was the right moment and just good enough, then that opportunity would have come up. So you've just got to start getting out there, start putting your work out there, and you never know what could come your way. Plus, the more that you're putting your work out there, the more it's going to improve, because you're going to be keeping at it all the time. In a way, it's an accountability. If you start saying, okay, I'm going to post, a new piece of work once a week, then you've got that accountability to your following as it starts to grow, and then they'll expect that. And so you're sort of forced to keep at it, keep improving, keep getting better, keep showing up. And so your work is only going to get better and better, and you're only going to feel better and better about it. And finally, just set the intention. As simple as it sounds, just deciding today, I'm going to feel confident about my creative work, can really lift you up and really change the way you look at your work by just making that decision that you're going to feel confident about it. As soon as some negative thought starts to hit your mind, start squashing it and saying, no, my work is as best as I can do right now, and I'm going to continue to improve. I'm going to continue to share, and my work is unique and special for these reasons. And these people really love it, so I'm not going to keep beating myself up about it, because I love my work and other people love my work, and so I'm really confident about what I can do and what I'm doing and what I'm sharing with the world. So stop second guessing your work and stop worrying about waiting till that perfect moment when you feel like you're going to be good enough. Just start creating, start feeling confident, and start putting your work out there and sharing it. And no matter what stage you're at, you're always going to have flops. There's always going to be times when you create something that just isn't working out. And that's okay, it's normal. It's just part of the process. Often I find that the failures are the things that we need to just get out of the way. Often when I'm working through the design process, I often realize that I actually have to do some bad work before I can do some good work. Often we need to get the bad stuff out the way. We need to have failures. Even some of the greatest inventors and creators of our time, they had to go through a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes before they came across something really brilliant. So don't beat yourself up. tell yourself the more that you're failing, the sooner you're going to get to something really genius. So it's just part of the process. Be confident in what you can do. So I hope this video inspired you and you're feeling more confident about your work and going to start squashing those negative thoughts in your head about your work. And let me know in the comments, what kind of things have you been saying to yourself about your work lately, and how can you start turning that around and feeling more confident about what you can do? And if you're a creative and you want to watch more videos like this about creativity and branding your business and getting your work out there and seen, then be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.